Hey guys, Fox here, and today we're going to be doing the USFL Week 6 Players of the Week, and we're going to be going over them. This week, I really am not a fan of two of them. I think that the same issue that happened a few weeks ago is happening again with the fans. So, to put it simply, the three winners of the week ended up being two players in the Stallions. The offensive player of the week was Bo Scarborough, the new signing for a couple weeks ago. The defensive player of the week ended up being JoJo Tillery of the Stallions. And then the special teams player of the week was Michigan's Cole Murphy. So let's just get started with the one I think that was, they were both. This one wasn't as bad, but it should be. Bo Scarborough winning offensive player of the week. So he ended up winning it because he had, honestly, I don't even know what to say about it. He had 16 touches on the ground for 104 yards, and then he had two receptions for 15 yards, which ended up being 120 yards, which is he had about 120 yards. But he only had one touchdown. And if you do the math on what they said, when you do 120 divided by 18 for how many touches he totally had, that's averaging about 6.7 per touch. Matt Colburn of the Philadelphia Stars had 140 yards on the ground and had 12 yards in the air. That's 152 yards on 20 attempts. He averaged 7.6. So he averaged literally a yard more per attempt or per touch. And not to mention he had two more touchdowns. This one was purely because of the Birmingham favoritism. It's back to what happened with the Breakers a few weeks ago. The teams that are really good or the best in the league, and most people are talking about, are going to be getting the most votes. This is a fan-voted award. But, this is one of those common sense things. Really, Bo Scarborough won over Matt Colburn, even though Colburn had more yards per, everything. He had more yards per touch, and he had more touchdowns. It don't make no sense. The other two finalists, Anthony Jones and Kevontae Turpin, I don't think they were good enough to really compete for this. But, man, the fact that Bo Scarborough won is pretty criminal. And then Defensive Player of the Week. Okay, this is the one that really aggravated me. So Defensive Player of the Week ended up being JoJo Tillery. He had 10 tackles, 9 were solo. He did have one sack and a tackle for loss. So he was solid, right? He was pretty good. You're not going to look at that and be like, oh, man, that dude's trash. But, you see, there's a guy called Chris Odom who was insane. I don't know if the fans who vote, naturally they did. They didn't watch this game, the fans who voted for it, because, Chris Odom, I think, received the least amount of votes, something like that, despite being clearly the best defensive player of the week. I think clearly he was the best player in the week. Dude, the only reason the Gamblers were in that game was because of him. I legitimately think so far he's probably the defensive player of the year. He had 8 tackles, 6 of them were solo. He had 2.5 sacks, 2 tackle for losses, and he forced 2 fumbles. Which, one of those fumbles became a touchdown recovery from Lolili, sorry if I pronounced that name wrong, who ended up getting 2 recoveries, both on his fumbles. Chris Odom is so incredibly gifted. He's going to be in the NFL, and I think he genuinely is going to be a starter. Dude, he's just, every week it seems like he's just terrorizing the quarterback, but this week was just something else. He was incredible. And the fact that he didn't win Defensive Player of the Week, and it went to JoJo Tillery for just having tackles, I get it. 10 tackles in a game is pretty nice. You had sack, cool. But dude, Chris Odom literally he caused 2 turnovers by himself. And then he had another half sack. Bro, it's just, I don't know. Chris Odom was dominant. He should have won this. Special Teams Player of the Week ended up being Cole Murphy. So, I know the other finalists were this one I'm okay with. I am. I'm not super thrilled about it, but I'm okay with it. I know Chris Odom was also finalist for that for block field goal, which is for such teams, but dude, I understand why Cole Murphy won, and I'm okay with it. Nobody in special teams really was that insane this week. He didn't have a kicker make 7 kicks or something like that. But Cole Murphy made 1 field goal and 2 extra points. He was perfect. But that 1 kick was a 56-yarder, which is the record in the USFL so far. So for that, I can get it, and I'm actually okay with it. I'm okay with him winning it since it is something like that, and I think it's pretty cool overall. So I'm fine with that. Overall, though, for the player of the weeks this week, man, dude, those two shouldn't have won Offensive Defense Player of the Week. All I know is I hope that the USFL does do awards, and I hope that the awards end up being right and they give Chris Odom Defensive Player of the Year. He's been incredible. But this has been Zom Fox. If you enjoy this content and want to be notified as soon as I upload any videos, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. And as always, have a great night.